There's an addiction more dangerous than alcohol, more seductive than drugs, more crippling than fear. You don't inject it, you don't drink it, you believe it. It doesn't rot your teeth, it rots your soul. It doesn't destroy your lungs, it destroys your relationships. It doesn't cloud your vision, it becomes your vision. It's the addiction to your ego. And here's the terrifying part. Most people never realize they're hooked, because the ego doesn't feel like a drug. It feels like you. If you've ever felt stuck in life, if you've ever looked in the mirror and wondered why you keep repeating the same patterns, if you've ever felt a quiet emptiness behind your successes, then this video might just be the most important wake-up call you've ever received. Subscribe if you're ready to see through the mask and finally meet your real self. The ego is a master of disguise. The ego doesn't wear a villain's cloak. It wears your achievements. It hides behind compliments. It lives in your defensiveness, your pride, your desire to win arguments. It whispers, "You're better than them. You don't need to change." They do. Why admit you're wrong? Just double down. Ego is not confidence. It's insecurity wearing armor. It's the voice in your head trying to protect a fragile image at the cost of your growth. Psychological addiction to ego. Studies show that the brain lights up in the same way for ego validation as it does for dopamine-driven rewards like sugar or gambling. When someone likes your post, dopamine. When you win an argument, dopamine. When someone praises you, dopamine. Over time, your ego creates a feedback loop. It trains your brain to seek validation, not truth. The addiction becomes so deep that you can no longer tell the difference between what's good for you and what makes you feel good. And that's the moment your potential starts dying. The doorway to freedom is humiliation. Here's a truth most people will never accept. Your biggest growth happens when your ego gets shattered. The moments you fail publicly, get rejected, are forced to admit you're wrong, lose status or reputation. These are the moments the ego can't survive, but your real self can. Every wise man in history, from Marcus Aurelius to Lao Tzu, knew this secret. To know yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. But you can't know yourself if all you ever defend is your image. You must let your image burn, so the truth can rise from the ashes. Ego feeds on comparison. Ever wonder why you feel worse after scrolling through social media? Because your ego doesn't want peace, it wants superiority. You're not comparing to grow, you're comparing to feel better than. But here's the ego's trick. When you compare up, you feel inferior. When you compare down, you feel superior. Either way, you stay trapped in the comparison game. The result? You never live your own life. You only chase an image of someone else's. As the shadow of the ego, what you refuse to see. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the parts of yourself you hide, repress, and deny. And guess what? The ego is the one doing the hiding. It says, "You're not jealous, they're just arrogant. You're not insecure, they're just threatening. You're not angry, they're just wrong." The ego protects you from pain by deflecting responsibility, but there's a cost. Every part of yourself you refuse to face will sabotage you from the shadows. The only way out is in. You cannot destroy your ego with more ego. You can only outgrow it with awareness. That means watching your thoughts without judgment, observing your reactions without defensiveness, noticing your patterns without excuses. That's not weakness, that's real strength. To sit with discomfort, to listen instead of argue, to apologize instead of justify. This is how the ego loses power, not with war, but with witnessing. You are not your thoughts. Here's the most mind-bending truth of all. You are not the voice in your head. You are the awareness that hears it. Let that sink in. The ego is just a program, a stream of thoughts trying to protect a false identity. It's not evil, it's just confused. The moment you stop identifying with it, you start waking up. You start becoming who you truly are beneath the mask. 7 signs. You're addicted to your ego and don't know it. If these feel familiar, your ego may be running the show. 1. You hate being wrong. You defend yourself even when deep down, you know you're off. You'd rather win than understand. 2. You can't take feedback. Criticism feels like an attack, so you either dismiss it, avoid it, or retaliate. 3. You over-identify with achievements. You are your job title, your followers, your income. Without them, you feel empty. 4. You're always comparing. You constantly scan the room for who's above or below you, never just with people. 5. You're easily offended. A small comment ruins your whole day. You replay it over and over. Why? Because it touched the mask. 6. You can't apologize to say I was wrong feels like death, but it's the ego's death, not yours. 7. You need to prove yourself to your parents, to your ex, to the world. But deep down, you're still just trying to prove it to yourself. And the ego will never let you win, because it survives off your insecurity. What the ancients taught about ego. The war against ego isn't new. It's been fought for thousands of years by the wisest minds in history. Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He wrote this to himself, not to brag, but to shrink his ego daily, to remember, he was just a man, not an emperor in spirit. Lao Tzu. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. Lao Tzu warned against labels, roles, and fixed identity, because they become prisons. Epictetus. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Ego makes you unteachable. It closes your ears. It puts a wall between you and truth. Rumi. Try to be a sheet of paper with nothing on it. Be a spot of ground where nothing is growing, where something might be planted. Ego says, I already am. Wisdom says, I'm still becoming. The 3 practices to break ego addiction. These daily rituals are simple, but powerful. 1. The mirror practice. 10 minutes a day. Stand in front of the mirror. No music, no distractions. Ask yourself, who am I pretending to be today? What am I avoiding? Where did my ego take control? Say nothing. Just feel. Let the answers come up without censorship. This is how you reconnect with your unmasked self. 2. The silent observation. 15 minutes daily. Sit in silence. Eyes closed. No mantras, no goals. Just sit. Observe every thought that comes up. Watch your ego try to justify, defend, narrate, complain. Don't fight it, just see it. Eventually, a distance forms between you and it. That distance is freedom. 3. The daily humbling. Choose 1 act per day. Ego shrinks when you choose humility. Each day, do 1 thing that reminds you of your smallness. Do the dishes for someone else. Compliment someone without expecting return. Apologize first. Admit you were wrong. Ask a beginner's question. These small cracks in the ego create space for your real self to emerge. Why most people will never escape their ego? Here's the hardest truth of all. The ego will convince you that it's your protector. It will say, if you let go, you'll be weak. If you admit that, you'll be a joke. If you forgive, they'll win. If you slow down, you'll fall behind. And it will sound logical, rational, smart, but it's a lie. The ego's real goal isn't to protect you, it's to stay alive. Even if that means keeping you miserable, stressed, defensive, alone, shallow, unfulfilled. The ego would rather keep you safe in a golden cage than let you walk free into the unknown. The final mirror: you are not what you think you are. Here's where it all lands. You were not born with an ego. You were born aware, curious, present. The ego formed later, as armor, as adaptation. It was built out of fear, pain, rejection, expectations. But now, you're grown. You don't need the armor anymore, but the ego doesn't step down easily. It must be faced, with honesty, with courage, with silence, with patience. And if you do, something miraculous happens. The mask slips, the defenses drop, the noise quiets. And in that stillness, you meet someone you forgot existed. You, the real you. Not the brand, not the performer, not the achievement machine. Just you. And when you finally see yourself, that's when your real potential begins. If this video made something shift inside you, even just a little, share it. Send it to someone still trapped in their own mask. And if you want to keep going deeper into the hidden self, subscribe. Not for me, but for you. Because each week, we're peeling back another layer to reveal what was always there.